Throughout all the videos and episodes so far, we've talked about ways of taking money out of fruit machines. Whether that's getting a jackpot much quicker than what the machine wants to give it you, or getting every pound coin out of the machine through a thing called a free win, or forcing out for a top, or whatever it might be. There's been lots and lots of good times. Now, on the other side of it, we've also talked about the illegal methods of taking out all the money out of a fruit machine. And that might well be, going through the note changer with a certain device, or sticking up a bar or a tool up the coin slot, crowbar on the side open, sparking, some sort of wiring through a vent hole. There's lots of ways that money has been taken out of machines over the years. Now, this one here that I'm going to show you, which was worked out accidentally, was a little bizarre, little bad bit of programming or software or mechanical issue. I don't know where the issue lied, but it was bizarre. I'd go to say that 99% of the time, ways that the games can be manipulated and you can win jackpots out of them or empty them is to do with issues with the software. Now, that might well be a mistake made by the software creators. They might have, when they did all their testing, might have missed it. They might have overlooked something, or throw this one as a little caveat, or might get your brain thinking. What about a deliberately implemented trick by the engineer? Now, what I mean by that is someone that works and creates these games and actually sits in with some sort of hierarchy within the actual creators of these games, who deliberately puts a trick in and sells it off to other fruit machine players. Can that actually happen? Has that happened? It certainly has. And I'll tell you what, for those that have never believed that this thing might happen, it has happened a countless times. And looking back over the years, those that have played fruit machines for many, many years, or might not play anymore but have done for a long time, you can see clear as daylight certain tricks which have been deliberately created by software engineers, and then guess what, known a couple of fruit machine players and sold it quite for a hefty amount. On top of their salary, what they might get is a nice little number, because these fruit machine players might well have the money to buy that sort of thing, because they're going to have like 6 months, 8 months, a year of going around emptying those fruit machines and doubling, trebling their initial investment, if you might want to call it, or how the amount they paid for it. That'll probably be its own video anyway. It might not be, but where I was going with it was this particular episode of the Blue Note Changer was a bizarre little thing. And like I said, I can't work out if it was software or a mechanical issue, but it works. Now, this was worked out accidentally through a fellow fruit machine player that played not too far from me, and it was worked out on a £35 red gaming machine. Now, that means that this doesn't sit too well with the timeline that we are at the moment. This was probably slightly before 2009. I'd go to say maybe 2000, late 2008. Early 2009. I know this because the story actually begins in Cardiff, and I remember hearing Lady Gaga, Poker Face and Just Dance like all the time on the radio. It was overplayed, and I remember that like it was yesterday. But this Blue Note Changer trick only worked on red gaming machines. Now, that was really annoying because this was worked out by someone, and I was on this really early because of that. And the annoying thing about it was there was not many of them about, and what made it even more annoying was that it only worked on red gaming. So there was lots of other different games that hosted the same shell. As you can see, these red gamings have this bubble shell, as people call it, and had the Blue Note Changer, but it did not work. And that was on games such as Star Wars themed games, such as Return of the Jedi. Next time any of you are in an arcade, a big arcade, and you know where there's Star Wars machines, sometimes you see them as a trio. So you'll have Star Wars A New Hope, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. The Return of the Jedi is like a big circular board, and a lot of them were out and about at this time that had this Blue Note Changer. But for some reason, it did not work on the Barcrest games. And to this day, I have no idea how and why it didn't work. If you know, please whack it in the comments, because it only worked on these red gaming machines. And I tried hundreds and hundreds of those Barcrests and I just could not get it to work. So how did it work? Well, like I mentioned, accidentally worked out this was. And it was worked out because this guy who watches the videos, I know he does, maybe not religiously, but he does pop in and watch some of them. He will, well, basically, it was worked out through putting a note changer while rowing this game. So you're playing a fruit machine, and this was not on one of these. It was on a Indiana Jones, which is a clone of a high-low silver, which will be in its own episode because reds at 70 were unreal. And you'll see that in a minute on these when I start playing them. But for the story, just imagine he's worth 35. Yeah, so putting a £20 note in and hitting start at the same time ultimately doubled the amount that the machine thought you put in. So it thought that you're putting 40 quid in instead of 120. Now how this worked was that you had to put £1 in. Now firstly, the note changer had to be on. Now what I mean by that is that it can be disabled by engineers, but when the machine gets less than 100 quid in its hopper, so these were holding like 350 or whatever at the time. I can't remember what 35s held. Was it 250 or was it 350? I think it might be 250 actually. 70s were definitely 350. But yeah, once it got below 100 quid, the note changer would go out. And that was just like a safe measure put in place to avoid the machine banking. Because what could happen is you could put a £20 note in, it would transfer 5 across, and then you could collect that 15 quid out. Because machines never paid out notes back then, there's a chance that you could empty the machine if that note changer stayed on, if you're with me with that. So it needed to be above more than £100 in it to work because the note changer needed to be on. You then put £1 in the machine, you put it on 50p, which was max stake for a £35 jackpot machine, and then you put a £20 note in this blue note changer. Now this blue note changer was a big square hole in the bottom left hand quadrant of this fruit machine, so just below this cancel collect button, just down here. You could not miss it. It was bright blue and it was very unique. There was no other note changer like it at the time. Now once you put your note in and you hear it reading, so it starts like crunching and making this like acceptance noise, you would hit start at a certain point on 50p and you'd play that credit off, and lo and behold, it would double the amount of money it thought it got put in. And that was the trick. Like I said, it was worked out accidental, and once it was worked out, it was on the hunt to try and find these, and they were very, very difficult to find. Now it took 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. It took I'd say about 2 weeks actually, for us to actually start traveling on this. And the reason why I say that is because we were hunting and looking around all of the areas that we thought there might well be these blue note changers. And you'd think that you could remember where these were, but your brain goes blank. So there was about 8 to 10 that I knew. There was some in Portsmouth, some in Fareham, some in Southampton. There was some in Aldershot, High Street, in the Virginia or something, big pub on the left. There was some in Fleet and Camberley. So there was quite a few of these about that we knew about, but not enough to make an absolute killing. So we decided to hit the road and we went to Cardiff. Now, I remember clear as daylight Lady Gaga playing, which was annoying, like I said, and it was on the radio. Every radio station we turned, it was on. And we finally got to Cardiff and we could not find any. I mean, we found some other good games that we were playing along the way, other playables, and made good money, but could not find any of these blue note changers. Then we bumped in, to a guy in an arcade called Bomber. I'm pretty sure that was his name. It's a long, long time ago. And he said, what you do. You know when you bump into a fruit machine player and you just know it's a fruit machine player. Like they stand out like a sore thumb. So we probably stood out like a sore thumb. He stood out like a sore thumb. We got chatting and I threw the question, do you know where any of these changers are? Or note acceptors. I keep saying note changers. Note acceptors is what their real name is. And he went, yeah, I've got one. Why? Are you robbing them? And I just left it there. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just kept it vague. And he gave me one. And it was around the corner in a bar. And I looked through the window and the note changer was on. Went in there, inserted my first note, doubled it up. So I now got 40 quid in the bank and it went out. So that's not good. I went all this way and only found one. Ultimately, the reason why this was really, really good was because you're getting double the amount of money. So you're playing games which are red gamings, which are playable anyway. So it costing you less, well, exactly half the amount of money to get the jackpot. So it was a great little bizarre way of doubling your money. Now, the following day, I ended up going back to Portsmouth. I was only up there for like 2 days, one night, 2 days, and I got a phone call of another fruity player that played locally, and he was like, "What are you doing in Cardiff?" So the news had already travelled that I'd gone there, and after a few questions, it soon came out that I was looking for these Blue Note changers. And do you know what? I knew where, like I said, 8 to 10 were, but it was never going to make me a huge amount of money. So I just thought to myself, I'll just, say what it was, not necessarily how to do it, just what it was to do with. And he was like, I don't really know where any of these note changes are. He goes, but I will phone one guy that I think will know where quite a few are. And this particular guy was called Jagger. And he played around the London area at the time, like a lot of people did. A lot of the meets, the jackpotty meets, and all these other meets. Lots of people, and I bet you a lot of you went to them. Well, a lot of them were in London. I mean, some of them were done in like Blackpool and Nottingham and all the rest, but there was quite a few in Nottingham. And he was a guy that lived there, and they spoke, and he was like, "Yeah, I've got like 30." And it turned out that Sceptre, which we talked about in the Sceptre skeleton key episode, hosted a load of these Blue Note changes. And we went around and done really, really well. Now, like, it was a bit difficult playing with Jagger. He's not sounding like horrible or anything. He was a bit paranoid, so it made pubs like even more on top. All we was doing was putting a note into a machine and hitting start. But it was always shifting, looking around. So, we went around, did quite a few of them. And then I thought to myself, I'm not going to bother coming back up here again. And sooner rather than later, it stopped working. They actually disabled the note changer, and they did something with it, and it never doubled up the amount. But a great little bizarre earner, which, like I said, a couple of £1,000 maybe, but nothing more than that. A crazy little thing. Now, what I'm going to do now, just to bulk the video a little bit, I'm going to play Cash or Bust on the left. I do want to play Big Money as well. Big Money. Smash to Cash, which was an amazing red at 70. But this particular one on the left, Cash or Bust, was one of the reds that I had that had a Blue Note changer. And Smash to Cash I had also as well, and that was in Kingston. I forgot to mention that I found the Smash to Cash with a Blue Note in Kingston. But all reds at the time could have them. So that was Indiana Jones, High Low Silver, Smash to Cash, Cash or Bust on the left, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls. Anything that had this bubble shell that was a new release could have that note changer, depending on who the supplier was. Right, let's play Cash or Bust then by Red Gaming. Not a favourable game. There was actually one of these in Bognor Regis Mr. P's when it first opened. And it hosts this wheel. A pound ago, I mean, there's no other way to play a red with this. But like I said, it can rattle through the credits. It's a little bit slower in comparison to like... go on, red.
CASHORBU.
So see all that boost in there where it boosted loads of stuff? That's what I talked about, what I'm going to talk about in the video of Red Gaming's at 70. So I'm not going to talk about that too much, but basically there was a time at £70 where reds didn't even need to have a button pressed. You can get the tops, but I'm not going to get into that too much because that's going to be its own episode. I want to try and get Cash or Bust. Yeah. So it does block for that T, but it's gone all red, so this shouldn't be a no issue now to get an £8 or £10 win. One thing that you can see here in comparison to this one on the right, Blue Sevens is 15 quid on Smash to Cash, only £8 on this. A bit similar to what Pulsation was in other games. I mean, hitting reds. This might just gamble out now. Yeah. 11. Survive. Yeah, went straight up. Get in there. That cost 4 quid. Some of these games have got so much juice in. Ah, oh wow. I mean, I've loaded the credits up because I thought it was going to cost a little bit, but it cost a £5 to get a 105. In this case, I'm going to play Smash to Cash as well. I think this one might be a little bit loud though. When I first downloaded it, I remember thinking, oh, it's a bit loud. Roll back. Okay, so that's this game done now. I mean, like, this will rattle through, and if it does give you another feature board, yeah, it's not going to do much. Do you see the difference of like the Mega Boost now? Right, collecting a £2. Right, what I'm going to do now, just to end the video, I'm going to do Smash to Cash, and then yeah, I'll end the video. But if you've ever played any of the Reds with the Blue Note changer and got any stories or experiences on them, please whack them in the comments below. Without sounding sort of big-headed, I don't think there was many people in the country that was on this as early as me and my mate. Not saying that in any sort of way of being big-headed, because we didn't make too much money out of it. Like I said, only a couple of bag, but it was just done out of pure mistake that it was worked out. Right, I'm going to mute the mic and I'm going to play Smash to Cash. It probably won't take long. We'll see how it goes.
I can act stupid now. I can act stupid now. Stupid now. I can act stupid now. I can act stupid now. stupid now.
Get the money.
Okay then, gonna leave it there. Yeah, shame that it didn't carry on for another 35 quid, but still a nice raise. I mean, across these two reds here, yes, they were extremely happy. They were jackpot ready pretty much, but just sort of gives you appreciation of how good they were, and you know you can expect this in pubs. But yeah, Blue Note Changer, a fantastic little number, and I'm gonna leave it there. So. I know in the last episode I said that it's going to be my story of 2009, but the next one is going to be Red Gaming's again, and I'm going to try and go for a rollback, which I want to show, and something that they did quite frequently. Maybe I will actually, maybe I won't. Sorry, depending on what games I play, but we'll see how it pans out. But then the one after that would definitely be the story of where I travelled the whole of the UK in 2010, early 2010. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da.